Welcome back everyone to another profit video, and I really like this one. I really can't wait to share it with you guys, probably for mainly two reasons. And the first one is that you really don't need a lot of education to get started. You don't need prior experience. You don't need any technical skills or prior knowledge or any experience whatsoever for that matter. You really, as long as you have at least a high school education, maybe even elementary school, you could probably do this with no problems, no issues. And we'll be getting to that in just a second. And then the other reason why this is so cool, this profit specifically, is because you don't need a lot of money to get started. It's a classic vintage example of how some people think you need thousands, even tens of thousands of dollars to really start a business, or particularly this business, and that is simply not the case. You can do this business with literally little to nothing. You can't necessarily do it with zero. You need a little something, but you don't need hundreds or thousands or even tens of thousands of dollars. You could really get started with next to nothing, and we'll be hopefully accomplishing the two goals of this video, number one and number two. Those two main factors, you will understand that by the end of this video. Now, before we get started, if you have been enjoying our content, you have been enjoying our videos, as always, make sure that you do drop a big thumbs up on this video. Go ahead and smash that like button. Also, if you haven't already, make sure you are subscribed. You can click that big red button and the notification bell as well. That will actually notify you when we do post a brand new video. And if you'd like to get started right away, you don't even want to watch this profit video, that's fine with us. You can go ahead and click that link down below in the description. You could sign up, get started right away, get instant access today. You can get started right now. So if you want to do that, go ahead and do that. That's fine with us. Now, just one more last thing before we do get to the profit and showing exactly how much we made on this particular event. We have to address the virus. You can't escape it. You just can't get around it. You have to address the virus. And now, do understand that when the virus first started, when this whole thing first actually began, we did a State of the Union address a long time ago, several months and months ago, addressing what's going on and how we were actually never impacted because of our usual process and system, and essentially how our program is put into place. We were actually never impacted. There was zero effect whatsoever in over the last 12 months. But you still have people to this day, even over 1 year later, people still living in fear, people scared out of their minds. They don't know what to do. So let's just look at some examples so you guys understand what we've been inundated with for the last 12 plus months. We've gotten thousands and thousands and thousands of people. You don't even know how many times we've had to say the same thing over and over and over and over again. Thousands and thousands of people asking us about the virus. And so let's just take a look at a few of these examples here. And this is recent. This is very recent. This is just in the last couple weeks, even 1 year later. This is what people are saying now. Could you imagine what we've heard 12 months ago? You can't even believe it. So these are just one example here from Julie. Julie said, "I have a question for you. How is this working with COVID? Thank you for your time." We have Julian here saying, "So with COVID-19 everywhere and lockdown, how are you making money with this? What sort of tickets, etc. are the general public buying? Can't seem to get my head round how you make money," and a few curious emojis right there. Let's take a look at another example. We have this person right here. "I am interested in your program. Should I join when it is COVID? Thanks." We have another person here. "We are still in pandemic. How can we buy and sell tickets with no large gatherings? Thank you." And we blocked out the names here because we don't want to reveal any of these people. We're not bashing any of these people. Again, this is understandable. People are living in fear. People are letting this dominate their lives even more than 1 year later. Again, these are recent inquiries of people saying this. This is very recent. This is not 12 months ago. You would think it would be 12 months ago, but this is actually very recent. And this is, again, 100% understandable, but let's just address it one more time. We've said it thousands of times. Let's say it again. There is no impact. We have thousands, even tens of thousands all over the globe. You have tens of thousands of tours being announced now every single month on a weekly basis. And this is in virtually every single state in the country. For example, you have limited capacity, and now even these venues are actually returning to 100% capacity. You just saw Madison Square Garden pack up big time with the Knicks game. It was actually 100% capacity. This was pretty cool to see. And even venues, particularly in the southern states, those venues started from the get-go. They were actually open from day one. Months and months and months ago, they were doing limited capacity events. And then you also have drive-in events as well, but those are not so popular these days anymore. That was more popular over a year ago, March, April, May, when you had to have no venues and everything was totally locked down. You even had those drive-in events, and you still have some limited capacity, and there was always events being announced in advance. So it's not like there were never events ever being announced. There was always, even from day one back in March, there were events being announced well in advance or rescheduled or just postponed, and we were still buying for those events and profiting big time on those events because there were so many people eager to get these tickets, and fans will do anything and pay anything to see their favorite artists and bands, and of course sports events and things of the like. So again, zero impact, never affected, and we're actually really having a boom in the business. Frankly, we've actually been seeing bigger profits than ever before with limited capacity. In fact, if we could choose how we would like to have these venues, we'd actually prefer limited capacity. Now, the reason for that is because when you have such limited capacity, you have a smaller capacity. Classic idea of supply and demand. When there's less supply and the same amount, if not more demand, because people are so eager to get out and see their favorite performers, what happens is the prices of these tickets get driven up so much more. So if we could actually choose how we'd like it, we would actually prefer this pandemic to go on forever. We would actually love these limited capacity events to happen forever and ever, and we would love to just make so much profit on these tickets because they're so valuable. But of course, we want the pandemic to end as well. We don't want this to continue, so we understand that. But if we had to choose it, we'd actually prefer the limited capacity, frankly. Now let's take a look at this profit. We actually had an alert here for this band, and it's a very indie folk band. You might have heard of it if you're into that kind of genre. It's called Caamp, or maybe you pronounce it in a different way. And what's so cool about this concept of not knowing events and not really knowing these artists and who is popular right now is that all the analysis and that work is done for you by our team of expert ticket brokers that put together our alerts for you. So you don't have to know anything. You don't need any prior experience. You don't have to know who's hot, who's not nowadays. You don't have to know the big teams. You don't have to know the big performers. You don't have to know the big names. You don't have to listen to any of their music. You don't have to watch any of them. Some of you guys don't like the performers nowadays. Perhaps you prefer the old music, and that's fine. You could listen to the old music all you'd like. You don't have to ever listen to a new artist, but yet you could still do this business. And that's because you don't need any knowledge whatsoever. All of the work and analysis is being done for you by our team of experts, and they hit it big time on this particular event. They really struck gold on this event. So if you look at their bio, this is a quick summary of the band. Caamp is an American folk band from Athens, Ohio. To date, the group has released 2 albums and 1 EP. Now, they're not the world's largest band by any means. They're just a small group. That's totally fine. You could make money on the big artists. You could also make money on the small artists as well. In fact, if you look at their Instagram, they only have less than 94,000 followers, which is really negligible compared to some of these superstars with millions, in some cases even tens of millions of followers. You would think you can't make a nickel on Caamp, but actually our experts knew exactly which location to pick, exactly which venue to go for that would make us money. Even on their YouTube, where most people do view music and listen to their favorite artists and bands in addition to Spotify and those other streaming platforms, just on YouTube they have just a little bit over 39,000 subs. So you would think they're just a small little group with really not much of a following, but the fact is that if you know exactly which location to buy and you know exactly which arena or performance venue to go for, you could still make a profit. And this is a classic example of why you don't need to know any of that. You would say, well, I don't know any of that. I didn't know which venue to go for. I have no idea. Well, our experts did the work already for you as part of our program. Again, this is all included with our alerts. You can get instant access to these if you actually sign up today using the link down below in the description. So what did our experts look at and what did they analyze? Well, this is very, very interesting. If you remember, we looked at the bio of Caamp, their biography, and remember, they're a small band from Ohio. So naturally, they would have the biggest following. Probably their biggest base is going to be in the state of Ohio and perhaps the surrounding areas, right? Now, of course, there's fans all over the country, all over the world that listen to their music. We know that. But their strongest base is probably going to be in Ohio. And that was very much emphasized when you look at, they had 2 Ohio dates for August 27th and August 28th. And look what happened. They actually sold out both dates very quickly. These are major general admission pits with thousands of people in them, and they sold out both dates back to back, August 27th and the 28th. Now, perhaps you don't live in the United States of America. That's totally fine. We have people doing this from all over the globe, but let's look at the map of the United States. So if you look at the map of the US, you'll see Ohio right here, with the surrounding areas being Pennsylvania, West Virginia, Kentucky, Indiana, and Michigan. So they announced another date after those Ohio dates sold out very fast in the state of Indiana. And that was the area that was alerted. This small venue in Indianapolis, Indiana, sold out very quickly. It was another general admission event. Now, it was actually a smaller capacity than that venue that they did in Ohio. So, a smaller capacity plus the surrounding area. People that wanted to go to the Ohio shows couldn't. So, I'm going to just assume that people from Ohio are going to be traveling to Indiana, and they also have a following in Indiana as well, just because they're so close in proximity. And that's what it's really about, is proximity to Ohio. And our experts analyzed this, and they said, well, if this small venue has a very small capacity, it's near Ohio, and both of these Ohio dates sold out, well, it only makes sense that the Indiana location would also sell out. And lo and behold, it sold out, and it sold out very, very quickly. That's exactly what happened, and that allowed us to make a nice profit. So far we've accomplished one of the goals of this video, and that was the fact that you don't need any knowledge, any experience, and you don't have to do any analysis whatsoever because all of that work is being done for you. So far we have showed you that. Now let's show you why you do not need a lot of money to get started. You can really get started with under $100. So we bought 2 tickets for this event as an example, and the total came out to $72.20. The tickets were at face value $27.50. That came out to $55 for both, a little service fee there. It's free to have them delivered from Go Mobile, and you could do this on any device. You don't necessarily need a cell phone. You could do this from a laptop, a phone, a tablet. You could probably even do it from a smart refrigerator. If some of these refrigerators nowadays come with internet access, a little touchscreen, you could probably even do the business from your fridge, as crazy as that sounds. But you can really do this from any device. Most people do it on their phone, but if you don't have a smart device that has access to the internet, that's totally fine. You can do it from a computer. We have even people that are very, very low income, and they actually go to their public library to do any work on the internet, and that's totally cool. You can do it from your library as well. Whatever you have to do, whatever you want to do, however you have access to the internet, you can do this business. A little tax, and again, the grand total of 2 tickets was $72.20 for this small little venue. And then we decided, hey, this event sold out, and as well as the Ohio dates, and other locations also sold out, but these were really the area that we were focusing on. And we decided, hey, let's try for a big profit on this one. Let's really hit a home run. And that's exactly what we did, because StubHub suggested to us a really nice margin. We kind of went a little above what StubHub was suggesting. We kind of went above the average, and that's cool. And we actually sold them for a grand total of $150 each, or $300 total. Service fee, it came out to be $255 after any fees. So the total payout was $255, and again, the total payment for the 2 tickets was $72.20. Now you can kind of eyeball the dollar-wise how much profit we made there, but I think what's even more interesting is to look at the percentage of how much of a percentage increase we actually made on these tickets, because if you could do it one time, you could do it over and over and over again, rinse and repeat process. You could do it an infinite amount of times. So the starting amount for both tickets was $72.20, as we just saw, and then we sold them for, after fees, a grand total of $255. Well, that equates to be over a 253% increase of your money. Now, I don't know about you, but unless you were to take a massive, massive gamble, I don't think you could find that kind of percent increase or profit anywhere else with any other vehicle. I don't think you could do it. You can definitely let us know, but I think this is truly one of the biggest ROIs you could make, return on investment, anywhere in history. So it just goes to show you that as long as you have the education of a 10-year-old, you can do this business. And it also just goes to show you that if you really have nothing to work with, you could also do this business. So I do hope you enjoyed this profit example. If you did, as always, give this video a big thumbs up, smash a like button, make sure you're subscribed to this channel, and click that notification bell. And again, if you'd like to get started right away, go ahead and click that link down below in the description of this video. If you have any questions whatsoever, you can always comment on this video or contact our support team. We're always active for you guys 24/7. So any questions at all, feel free to reach out. Hope you enjoyed this video. We look forward to seeing you guys in the next one.